Hey there, RC hobby enthusiast on YouTube. I was going to show you a quick overview of some of the projects I have gotten done and some of the different hobbies I've expanded into since I've gotten into RC about 3 years ago. Obviously got into RC aviation, got a couple of 4S and a 3S plane there, a 3D and a Warbird, and another Warbird there, another 3D plane. But recently we started getting into the 1/12 scale, more of a basher, or a track buggy, loose track buggy style vehicles. An MN 112, got fully custom built Bronco that uses a lot of WPL components on it. Custom cantilever suspension on there. Very scale MN 96 model. It's even got a scale engine. Yeah, it's got a scale Jaguar V8 in there. It's batteries, airbox. And this is a Brooder Unimog that I converted to RC. Again, using mostly WPL components. Got some dirt on the tires. Got a mid-mounted Mercedes V8 in there. Semi-scale interior. Got all the goodies in the back of that one too. Here's a more basic D96, one that I beat up, just recently built up. A little bit more capable trail rig with the axle mounted servo, a little bit bigger wheel and tire, better shock combination. And then, who doesn't like a good Land Cruiser? Built a leaf spring scale Land Cruiser out of a MN, I think it's a 45, MN45 body. Yeah. You gotta have one of these. If you're into RC, do yourself a favor, get a 1/14 scale brushless WL Toys. They're little rocket ships. I've put tons of batteries through this thing. It's had 0 failures. It's a riot. It's a great little buggy. If you're into buggies, it eats up all sorts of terrain. I've got some paddle tires for it. It's an absolute riot. This is a little creation I made out of an MN86 MN86 K maybe, I don't know. It's one of those AMGs without the G-Wagon body on it. And I'm fixing to put a brushless setup in it soon. And have kind of just a solid axle rock basher or something along those lines. Do mess around with boats. I have never gotten this one to run properly. It came to me with faulty electronics, and to this day I've never really had much luck getting it to run right. I'll have to do a good video overview of it one of these days. Maybe one of you gentlemen that knows a thing or two about setting up catamaran boats would give me a hand getting this thing tuned up this summer. I'd certainly appreciate it. Because I am a founder for WPL, no flex, just have tons of them, so got in there and I got early access on this. I think I've run 1 battery through it. Great little detailed model, just one of those ones I don't run very often. I'd like to figure out something to do more with it. I'm kind of thinking I want to do a amphibious conversion, maybe mount a water jet or a prop and rudder to the back of it. Something along those lines. But yeah, just sadly for how cool it is, I just don't use it that often. I think a lot of it is it's too slow to take hike with, and it's not quite outrageous enough as far as speed or jumping it or hammering out good lap times to go out and just rip it, so it doesn't get much use. This is a work in progress. I've got some WPL metal axles coming in for it. I'll probably do a full feature on it. I will show you what carnage happened just in the mock-up stage. I knew these plastic axles were going to let me down. This one just had a drive shaft failure, but this one it started to spit the pinion gear out of the housing. I thought that was pretty extra special. So I'll probably save that axle just to have around. This is a pretty close replica of one of my personal trucks. I drive something like this almost every day. It's a 2013 Ford F-150 extended cab. Nothing particularly special. Built this out of two B14s, or one B14 and a B16 maybe. Anyhow, you used to be able to get the plastic kits on eBay for like 30 bucks. So I bought an extra one, made a crew cab out of it. I want to say I got a red cap motor in this. Yeah, it's got a red cap motor in it. It's a rough idea of what's going on underneath the skirt there. This one's brushless. It's got a 2445. I think it's a 3600 kV, fairly low kV motor. And here's the paddle tires I was talking about earlier. Those go on to the WL Toys buggy quite well. Recently took one of these bodies and chopped it up just a little bit to get it to fit onto this. I did get to keep the interior, but now it's got kind of a more pre-runner desert truck style suspension going on, platform. Yeah, I just burned the motor out of this, sadly. I got a new motor coming from it. If anybody knows good 390 brushed motors, would love to know. Just put that down the old bleep loops if you would. I got a Dynamite 25 turn or 22 turn. I think it's 22 turn coming in for it. We'll see how that holds up. And this is the model that got it all started for me for the WPL base. I got a B24, which they start like this. That's what you get with a B24 cam. And this is what it's evolved into. And up here I've got some, everybody's got to have one of those. If you got a crick nearby, get one of those for a brushless motor in it and have at her. They're a rip. A couple models that I converted to RC. This is a Hawker Tempest, World War II plane, 24 cylinder. This is a Bezgar or an HBX. So what's this? I like them. They seem to hold up really well. The paddle tires again in the snow are a riot. This is a WL Toys bolt scale something or another that I took the body off of and turned it into a 78, 79 Ford pre-runner type truck, desert racer. I don't know what lingo you like. This little guy, this is old school plane I got from John. He's a gentleman that flies with me at the Model Airplane Club, Plane Nuts. T-28. And the Scorpion. It's my only surviving EDF. I haven't had very good luck keeping them from having hard impacts into the ground unintentionally. FT09 that I converted to jet. We'll see how that works out this spring. Self-rights still, and it went around in the jacuzzi tub all right, so high hopes, high hopes. A couple little microplanes. These you got to check out if you're getting into flight. They're a fantastic way to get into flight. I'll go into them more if anybody's got questions about them. I just got myself a little Atlas 6x6. Haven't done much with the micro crawlers yet, but I was getting into them a little bit because I built this guy here out of a HBX Devastator and a Tyco body. But it was a riot, so I figured I'd get a more scale one. And I built this out of some cheapo that I found on eBay. Lengthened the control arms and got a different modified the rear drive shaft with a different one that I had. Turned that into a fairly scale little crawler. It's fun. And since I got a real problem with 6x6s, I had to get a 6x6 in that scale too. Here's some more of my model conversions to RC. Got a Z28, 93 Cobra, Viper GTS, Stealth, RT. This is a 69 Super B, and the Boss Mustang 429. Showed in my previous video. And here's the 6x6s or larger. Got the Faye that's been converted. I think I'm going to turn this. And I wanted you guys to tell me down in the bleep loops. Should this be a dump truck or a tow truck? I think this is a JJRC body that I put all the WPL goodies underneath, the 2-speed and the proper walking beam style suspension. Another JJRC, same deal. Put the goodies from WPL underneath, the walking beam, 2-speed, all their axles. There's a B24 that I put on a 6x6. I'll have to look up the bloke that does these 3D printed fifth wheels. They're legit. They come with the male piece as well for the trailer. Got a little rocking action. All the lower suspension bits from WPL go right onto it. Mint. Awesome setup. I've got a few of them to convert it to a proper fifth wheel. And here's a B36 that I really early on took the plow off of the Unimog that I showed you earlier, silver Unimog, and put it onto this model. And it works. I had a couple videos of it running. Here's a rollback, another B24, converted longer wheelbase. I'll have to show you the suspension setup on this one these days. Pretty trick. Hold extra weight and still more stable that way as well. But here's an HBX ratchet that I took. I'm not sure who makes the body, but toy body that I found online. Fitted on there with a brushless 390 setup. It's a ripper. It'll do like 30 miles per hour plus on 3S. Faster than the tires can hold up. I know that. I've shredded a couple of those tires. Here's an 8x8. I think this is another JJRC body originally. Uses a brushed 390 motor with the 2-speed WPL. Uses twin servos, so I can use varied steering rates to get the rear axle to steer a little tighter. The front suspension, you will notice, is the walking beam, as is the rear. Gives it a little more travel in it than using the standard leaf spring suspension. This is a Big Farm Peterbilt. I think it's a 359. Correct me down the bleep loops if I'm wrong. I think it's a 359. It detailed the interior up on, and I've added twin stacks, twin air cleaners. All cool truckers gotta have twins, right? This is my battery box back here behind the cab. Another one of those fifth wheels, 3D printed. Awesome. This is another 390 swapped unit. Made a custom drive shaft out of a arrow shaft. That's a carbon fiber arrow shaft that I turned into a drive shaft because I shot the arrow into my shed. That's all that was left of it. And gutted out one of those. Do not get these axles. If you're building a WPL or an MN, stay away from these. They're horrible. I gutted it. It's not connected to anything. It's a free spinner steer axle. That's about all they're good for. And then another fifth wheel made from a B16